We all have this story we tell ourselves, right? That we know our own bodies. Especially when you're, say, 32, you're in the gym 5 times a week. You feel, well, you feel invincible.
Mm.
But what if an algorithm, a really accurate one trained by researchers at places like Harvard, could just scan everything about you, your genes, your sleep, everything, and tell you your future?
And that's the real tension we're getting into today. We're looking at the story of someone just like that. A 32-year-old, picture of health on the outside.
Right.
But underneath, there was this genetic baggage. His dad needed a heart stent at 58. There was a family history of type 2 diabetes, some cancer. So the real question is, could this new AI see the things that we're hiding in plain sight?
Okay, let's unpack this.
Mm.
We're diving deep into the source material that really details how this AI works and what it found. Our mission is to figure out what this tech sees that traditional medicine just completely misses,
Yeah.
and what this means for you, for everyone's future.
To start, we really need to be clear about what this technology is. It's not just some wellness app.
Yeah, that's important.
Right. So the person in our story used a tool that was available to them, but the engine behind it. That's a collection of serious published machine learning models. We're talking Harvard Medical School, Brigham and Women's Hospital, the Broad Institute. This is the real deal.
And the accuracy is what really makes you stop and listen. I mean, the sources mention one model that predicts type 2 diabetes with, what, a 92% AUC?
A 92% area under the curve, yeah. And for anyone listening, that AUC score, that's the gold standard. It means the model is just incredibly good at telling who will get a disease from, who won't.
So even with just standard health records and lab work, it's already a leap forward.
A huge leap. And the scope is incredible. It's not just one prediction. The really powerful tool here was what they call a multimodal model,
Multimodal meaning?
meaning it's not just looking at your genes
Uh,
or just your blood work. It combines everything.
everything.
Genetics, your wearable data from your watch, your blood biomarkers, your lifestyle. It all goes into one pot to predict risk for, I think, 67 different diseases at the same time. It sees connections a human doctor just isn't trained to look for.
Which brings up the big question.
Yeah.
How does it stack up against, a human doctor using the standard risk scores?
It consistently outperforms them. The research is clear. Things like the Framingham or ASCVD risk calculators,
Yeah.
they're just not in the same league. The AI sees the whole picture.
If this whole idea is fascinating to you, this idea of using data to find a shortcut to crucial knowledge, then this is probably a good time to mention our main knowledge channel, Mind Expansion Daily.
Absolutely.
We live for this kind of complexity, and our whole goal is to deliver clarity. So if you could, please take a second right now to hit that like button and share this deep dive with someone who needs it. Maybe that person who also thinks they're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And look, if you really love what we do, you can actually support the team by buying us a cup of coffee. We really appreciate it. And let us know where you're listening from in the comments. We love seeing where this is all landing.
We do.
Okay, so let's get to the moment of truth for our 32-year-old. He decided to just give the algorithm everything.
I mean, everything. The data upload was exhaustive. It had to be to feed that multimodal AI. He uploaded his raw 23andMe genetic file.
Okay, so the core GNA.
Yep. Then 3 years of blood work, history, cholesterol, HbA1c, C-reactive protein. Then came all the wearable data.
This is the minute-by-minute stuff.
Exactly. 18 months of Apple Watch data, so heart rate variability, resting heart rate, VO2 max, plus his Oura Ring sleep data. And on top of that, full family medical history and detailed diet and exercise logs.
Wow. So 45 minutes to upload his entire physiological history.
Yeah.
And when he hit calculate, the difference between his old score and the AI score was big.
It was jarring. Let's start with his heart. The standard calculator, based on his physical, put his 10-year risk of a cardiovascular event at just 4.2%.
Which is super low. That's don't worry about it territory.
Absolutely. The doctor tells you to keep doing what you're doing.
And what did the AI come back with?
18.7%.
Whoa. Wait, from 4% to almost 19.
Yes, and nearly 4.5 times higher risk. He literally thought the system had glitched. It meant he had almost a 1 in 5 chance of a major cardiac event before he turned 42.
How is that even possible? I mean, how could the traditional model be so wrong? What did the AI see?
It saw a perfect storm. First, it flagged a genetic marker for high LPA. That's lipoprotein.
I've heard of that. It's like a really sticky, dangerous kind of cholesterol, right?
Exactly. It's highly genetic, and standard cholesterol tests don't even look for it, but it's a huge risk factor.
So why wouldn't a doctor just test for that?
It's just not standard protocol. They usually only test for it if you have a really strong family history of very early heart disease. The AI doesn't wait. And it combined that genetic risk with his wearable data.
Which showed what?
Chronically low HRV heart rate variability and a consistently high resting heart rate while he was sleeping. So the AI saw a genetically vulnerable heart that was also under constant low-grade stress, even when he was asleep.
That is incredible. So the 4.2% was a total false sense of security. And I hear the diabetes prediction was just as bad. Traditional risk was, what, under 5%?
Comfortably under 5%. The AI put his probability of getting type 2 diabetes by age 50 at 31%.
31%.
Yeah.
Well,
And again, it's that synthesis of data. The AI saw his strong genetic predisposition, sure, but the key was the wearable data. It saw these microspikes.
microspikes in his blood sugar.
Exactly. After he ate late-night meals, his glucose was spiking to 150 or more. Now, his fasting glucose, the one the doctor checks once a year, was always perfect. But the AI saw the pattern over years, these hidden spikes, which is a classic sign of early insulin resistance.
And there were a couple other bombshells in there too, right? Totally out of left field.
Yes. A huge surprise was a 44% probability of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease within 8 years.
For a guy who works out 5 times a week.
Yeah, a disease you associate with obesity. But the AI likely connected his high caloric intake, even of healthy food, with those glucose spikes and flagged it. And then there was the psychological prediction.
Right.
A 28% chance of a moderate to severe depression episode within 5 years. The AI correlated his documented sleep disruptions, specifically trouble staying in REM sleep, with his family history of psychiatric conditions. It was seeing mental health risk in his sleep data.
It's worth pointing out, though, that it wasn't all bad news. There were some green lights.
Absolutely, and that's important. It reinforces that the AI isn't just a fear machine. His risk for major cancers and Alzheimer's came back low, and it even pointed to his specific APOE33 genes as the reason why. It's designed for accuracy, not just panic.
This really gets to the core difference here. I mean, 14 months earlier, his doctor looks at a snapshot, great BP, good fasting glucose, and says, keep doing what you're doing.
It's the perfect analogy. The AI sees the movie, not just the photograph. The doctor sees a single frame from one day. The AI has the whole reel, years of data, and can see the trend lines.
So what were the key trends, the parts of the movie the doctor missed?
First, his HRV, that key marker of nervous system health, had dropped 15% in 1 year. That's a huge red flag for chronic stress. Second, genetically, the AI saw that his LDL particles were the stickier, more dangerous type, something a standard cholesterol test would never show you.
And those glucose microspikes were the last piece of the puzzle.
Precisely. The fasting test was hiding the problem. The AI saw the system was already under strain day in and day out.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but we need some real-world proof. The sources point to a pilot program at Mass General Brigham in 2024.
And this is the clinical validation right here. They gave these AI risk scores to 2,400 patients.
And the impact?
It was immediate. Doctors changed the treatment plans for 41% of them. 41%. They added statins, ordered more tests, started preventative drugs, all based on the AI's flag, not the old calculators.
And the results for those patients?
Get this. The high-risk group that followed the AI's recommendations saw a 34% reduction in actual cardiac events just 6 months later compared to the control group.
Wow, so this isn't theory. This is saving lives.
It is. There's this one story of a 48-year-old guy, normal BMI, 0 symptoms. The AI flagged him with a 39% heart attack risk.
So he felt totally fine.
Totally fine. But the AI warning prompted a calcium score scan. It turned out his arteries looked like a 75-year-old's. He got a life-saving stent 2 weeks later. The algorithm literally saved his life.
Okay, so let's bring it back to our 32-year-old. He's staring at an 18.7% cardiac risk and a 31% diabetes risk. What did he actually do?
He immediately moved into a super aggressive, personalized prevention plan. First, he got a blood test to confirm the high LPA. It was high. So after talking with a new cardiologist, he started on a statin, 10 milligrams of rosuvastatin daily.
A statin at 32? That sounds extreme.
It does, but when you see the data, the genetics, the low HRV, the fourfold risk increase, it was completely justified by the science.
Now, what about the diabetes and fatty liver risk?
He got serious about sugar, radically cut it to under 15 grams a day, and, maybe more importantly, he moved his dinner 3 hours earlier to stop those late-night glucose spikes.
Smart. And for the low HRV?
He started dedicated Zone 2 cardio 3 times a week. That's that low-intensity, steady-state exercise that's proven to boost mitochondrial health and raise your HRV. And he booked a DEXA scan and a liver ultrasound to see what was going on there.
This feels like a completely new paradigm. And the sources suggest this could be the standard of care in, what, 2 to 4 years?
That's the projection. We're moving away from the annual physical and towards continuous AI monitoring with, say, a quarterly human check-in. Imagine your watch pinging you in a few years saying, "Hey, your diabetes risk just went up to 27%. Here are 3 things you can do right now to get it back down to 6%.
And insurance companies are going to love this.
Of course, it's so much cheaper to prevent a heart attack or diabetes than it is to treat it for decades. The incentives are perfectly aligned.
So for the subject of this story, that 92% accuracy claim, it held up. The algorithm saw things. His doctor, with the same data, just couldn't.
Yeah, the final thought from the source material is that this algorithm might have literally added 10 or 20 healthy years to his life just by forcing him to act now.
So the big takeaway here for you is that the very definition of healthy is changing.
Yeah.
It's not about how you feel today or what a single blood test says. It's about what a continuous stream of data reveals about your future. Early detection is shifting from luck to logic.
And that really leaves us with a profound question from the sources. If you could get your hands on this technology right now, knowing the results could be genuinely terrifying, that it might tell you you're not as healthy as you feel, would you actually want to know? What's the single most actionable thing you've heard today that you could apply to your own life right now?